Hello, all, and welcome to, well, I suppose it's a very special review, which I am going to dub the empty stomach review. So I haven't actually eaten my dinner yet, and the reason that I haven't, I usually eat dinner before I go and do my taste testing, but I have curry for dinner, and for obvious reasons, I don't think it would be really a good idea to have like curry and then do a sensory tasting of something after. So, especially since what we are reviewing is Courvoisier VSOP Cognac. So, I've already uploaded it. So, as you may know, I reviewed Courvoisier VS, and I was somewhat impressed by it. And being that that was the youngest, the most basic entry into it, I want to go explore the world of Cognac a little bit further. And I kind of picked the right one because Courvoisier is one of the more was one of the more. It's not as expensive as the more popular, more cachet, I suppose, brands. So this VSOP costs about $50, which is still pretty expensive when you have my income, versus Hennessy, which costs about $67 here in Hawaii. All of it is all pretty expensive. So let's go and read the back, shall we? Throughout history, Courvoisier has always been synonymous with superior quality. Legend has it that Napoleon took with him hundreds of bottles to enjoy during his years in exile. Considered as one of the finest in the world, our VSOP is an aromatic blend with subtle notes of peach, almond, and vanilla, a true embodiment of our prestigious heritage. So when I started this exploration into brandy, I was kind of hoping I would have some absolute wow moments, and this was one of them. When I had it, it was like, dang, where has this been all my life? And I can't get over how much, in Europe it doesn't, everyone drinks cognac. It's just another fine liquor. But in America, if you may not know, this is kind of, cognac is kind of considered the liquor of choice of hip hop stars. Um, and so I guess a lot of, crafty people like me, I'm not white, but it kind of has like a very white connotation. They don't drink it. They don't say anything about it because obviously they're they're not. I'm kind of digging myself into a pit here, aren't I? We should just get on straight on to the review, okay? For those of you who are wondering, I am Hawaiian, Portuguese, Filipino. There's a whole bunch of little other stuff on the sides, but those three are the majority. Okay, so this is 80 proof or 40% ABV. And pouring it into the Glencairn glass because I don't have a snifter. Open it up and, it's got a very strong scent. It's, you can smell it from the open bottle. So, yeah, we're going to be having a lot of fun explorations with this here. Because this initial taste test is just really the beginning of my exploration of the world of cognac, which I hope won't bankrupt me. So, an amber peach color. With fairly thick legging. Now, some descriptions I've read said that this is taken from barrels aged between 8 to 10 years or 8 to 12 years. I am not sure what is correct. If you guys know what's correct, please tell me. Cognac is kind of The vast majority of the market is split in between four large distilling houses in France, and Courvoisier is pretty much the smallest of the big four, Hennessy being the largest, and I forget where Martinel and Saint Remy are. But yeah, there's a whole bunch of other smaller makers out there, which I might go and explore. Who knows? Just rich, very rich smell. Flowers, vanillas, peach, almonds, basic nuttiness, honey, toffee notes, hints of butterscotch. All in all, a lot going on there. All in all, very intense smelling. Let's get on to the tasting, shall we? First thing that hits you is just how silky smooth it is. In the mids, a top note of jasmine emerges that you really sense in your nose. There's oakiness in the finish, and then as oakiness subsides, and then a whole bunch of other tastes kind of explode out. It's almost like one of those firecrackers that explodes and it kind of twinkles as it's going down. It's really quite nice. Sweet, juicy notes up front. Baking spice in the mids to finish. An overall nuttiness throughout. See, after that woodiness, that oaky woodiness in the finish kind of subsides, there's just like this reemergence of the various sweet and kind of fruity notes on the palate. It kind of creates almost like a, a long effervescent note because this really lasts on the palate. I have to say, almost like a top note of butterscotch. You don't really taste it on your tongue, but it's in the air. You sense it up here. There's a subtle sweetness up front, But as it grows to the mids and into the finish, it comes drier, with that oakiness kind of dominating the finish, and then that sweetness kind of comes out with all those other more subtle sweet notes in the long finish, as I mentioned before. It's really quite nice, I have to say. So the kind of grapes being used for making cognac, I think I've mentioned them before, are the Ugni Blanc. Hmm. Honeyed nuttiness. Toastiness, too. Toastiness in that long finish. It's really quite interesting how much flavors really show up in that long finish. If I could, criticize this in one way, I would say that the flavors are not as distinct as in other liquors, in the front and in the mids. In a lot of whiskeys I've tasted, especially single malts, it's very sharp and distinct. Those various flavor notes. Cognac, it's very smooth, but there's a bit of blurriness amongst those taste notes there where the edges are not very defined. It doesn't pop. You have to suss it out a little bit more. But that's okay. I drink a lot of beer where that's sort of a thing you got to learn how to do. Yeah, honeyed vanilla nuts. Really like that floral top note that emerges too. There's just like a burst of jasmine in the mids there, up in your nose. And it's just so drinkable. I mean, I'm drinking this like it's not liquor right now. You see me, I'm just like, I'm kind of knocking this back here. And that is just because it goes down so smooth and it's just so enjoyable to drink. This is, it's it's very rare that I would say, this is really drinkable in regards to a liquor. I mean, yeah, this is very drinkable. And I'd like to see cognac get explored a little bit more, Not so much the craft world because it'd be very difficult being how it is a region so regionally restricted, regionally defined within France. I don't think there's much room for a smaller distiller to go and like open. I know there are a few, excuse me, compared to like the various big houses, but you know, yeah, more people ought to drink this stuff. Um, Instead of it having this sort of reputation as the luxury good of cognac has like this connotation of of like a it's like a liquor that has the same connotation as like a purse that has like Louis Vuitton's logos splattered all across it. It has this reputation of conspicuous consumption. And to be honest, yes, they're these houses are kind of chasing that sort of market. I mean, I believe Hennessy is literally owned by the same people that own Louis Vuitton. But by the same token, this is some good stuff, you know. And yes, it has that reputation of conspicuous consumption, but it is worth the price. I would say that, yes, this is definitely a $50 beverage right here. Mm, yeah. So, yeah, if I could, really hammer the point on, I think that more people ought to go and try Cognac. This kind of blew me away. I knew that it was going to be smooth and drinkable, but what really surprised me was the flavor depth on the palate. That how much emerged, how complex it was, with top notes that you sense up here, and with a very long and complex finish, which is what I think really is the hardest part of any sort of, food or drinkable, having that long thing and long after you swallow, and that long taste experience after you swallow, and it kind of hits all those. So yeah, Courvoisier VSOP. You know, they say that the VSOP is like the first thing, that VS is really for mixed drinks. I don't know. I really enjoy drinking just the VS straight, but dang, this is definitely something, man. There is a there. That's for sure. It's not just luxury branding, you know. And yeah, give it a shot. I was pretty well chuffed by this, as a long lost friend of mine once said. So that is your cognac review for this evening. Going to be reviewing an interesting beer tomorrow. Cheers.